Identical sales up 12, digital up 225. Hard to find any hair on the quarter, really, given the trends that we've seen post-COVID. Are we looking, though, at a period of deceleration ahead?
Not yet, Carl. First, thank you for that. It was just a great job by our front line. They continue to be relentless in serving our customers, even in these difficult times. I think customer behavior is changing. I think we're changing the way we eat. We're eating a lot more at home. I think we're going to work more at home, even post the pandemic. And some of those behaviors are going to stick as we go through the next year. I think it'll be more like the last 6 months than 2019. So while we won't see the rate of growth we saw early in the pandemic, I think we're in for healthier growth than we saw before the pandemic.
So given that, and given that we've seen a lot more players enter on food delivery, is it going to be a share fight in the next 6 months, 12 months? And if so, what does that say about the level of promotion that players need to commit to and the margin differentials?
Yeah, Carl, in fact, I think as people come into the world of delivery, it's symbiotic. We have partners today who help us with the last mile delivery, and some of them get more scale, if you can imagine, locally, because they can serve a restaurant and serve a store like us. So I think you're going to see them being actually very beneficial to where the customer is trying to go. As it regards to pricing and inflation, yes, the inflation was higher. If you go back early in the pandemic, it's come down. It continues to moderate down. It'll probably be higher than what we are normally used to, but it has moderated down quite significantly, Carl.
Vivek, it's Morgan. I'm curious about the vaccination rollout that's happening in your stores around the country. What does that look like? How quickly can you begin to administer vaccines? And also, what does that mean in terms of your own frontline workers being able to get those shots?
Morgan, it's such an important service we can provide. We have 11,000 pharmacists and pharmacy technicians who are ready to deliver vaccines. We have dispensed 45,000 to date, okay? And that's less than 5% of the capacity that we have to dispense vaccines. We need the vaccines. And I think the more state, local, and counties can work together to establish some standards on who gets what when, and then if we can unleash supply, we are ready. And I know many others like us are ready to dispense the vaccines. We need to unlock the supply chain and get it to us.
Yeah, I mean, I realize that we're still operating under emergency use authorizations and we're still really in early stages in terms of that rollout. But when the time comes, in terms of, I guess, more permanent approvals, is mandatory vaccination something that you're considering for your staff?
We've talked about it. We think there'll be a big uptake within our staff because of the education that we do. And so we're going to lean towards that first. And we're considering it, but we're going to let it play it out and see how many people take it and then think about how to incent the rest to take it.
Vivek, Carl mentioned 225% annualized growth in digital sales. Obviously, it's got to be coming off a much smaller base than traditional sales. But where does that go to ultimately as a proportion of your overall business? And what does it do to store logistics in terms of having people, shop for others in the stores, trying to do curbside pickup, whatever has to be adjusted?
Yeah. Mike, I think, I had always imagined that it will get to 10% of sales in the marketplace broadly by 2025. I think we'll be there much sooner than that, right? And I can imagine it getting to 15, north of that even by the 2025 timeframe. Now, you're right. Our e-commerce business is store-based, so we use those points of inventory close to the home to deliver it. There are new technologies emerging so that you end up with not crowding the store. Something we have in 2 of our locations is we call it a micro-fulfillment center. So think of it like a mini warehouse attached to your store that is doing most of the heavy-duty e-commerce work, so we reduce the traffic in the store. And like everything in life and in this industry, we are learning and improving it to make sure that we serve the customer well.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.